Smoke yourself. You gotta smoke yourself. The smoke is for you. You're trying to convince them that you're not a bear, right? Or whatever. You smoke yourself, because who in nature smells like smoke? Only the beekeeper, right? So you smoke yourself, and you somehow smoke in here. First mistake, because as soon as you did this, all the bees ran up under the edge. Boom, dead bees. The first thing you've done is kill 10 bees. And they know, it smells like dead bees in there. They know very well. So, not good, but this person is, I don't know what that is, but he smells like smoke and he's killing us, right? So you're teaching them for future that beekeepers are bad people, right? So don't do that, please. So you've smoked, you put the smoker down, you leave it like that, just for the moment, and then you come. But now the problem is you didn't look, you just put it on the ground. The queen could have been walking around, the queen could have been up there, and here you are putting her on the ground without looking. You've got to look just for the moment. Is she here? Is she here? If it's just bees, okay. But if it's the queen, you've got to scoot her back in there very carefully. What are you doing up here? Get back to work. Yeah. Very nice, but that's probably the worst first thing you can do as a bumbling beekeeper. So you've lost your queen, and maybe you even notice it, because the bees, they lose their morale. They become listless. If you watch bees enough, you can tell that they're really sad. Something's wrong. You order a queen just in case. Maybe I was a bumbling beekeeper last week and I lost the queen. They say you want marked or clipped. So in their little laboratories, after they've impregnated her and not allowed her to fly, because we wouldn't want her having mating with any strange African drones. No, we want her to be whatever we give her. So they've got her in their little cage and they have impregnated her. They want to know if you want them to put paint on her back. That's what marking is. Why you would want that, I can talk about it in a minute. Or clipped. Would you like us to cut her wings off? So that costs extra. So it makes you think, I guess I'll do that. I'll go for it. I'll pay the extra price. It's always more expensive to maim a creature, I guess. So, anyway, I'm trying to be silly about it. But why would you do that? I suppose someone maybe scared you into thinking the queen will fly away. So you cut her wings like the parrot, you know, the wild parrot in your house, you cut their wings, at least this little part. The marking, you know, if you are a beekeeper, you have to resist curiosity in a certain sense. You can watch the front of the beehive all day long and not worry. But if you're going in there to say, I'm going to look at the queen today, and it's so handy because she has a big green spot on her back, that's a bit excessive. Why are you so curious? They're working in there. They're doing what they want. They don't want God looking at them like that. You know, they want God to stay a little bit away. With your smoky smell and your force of nature, it's rather imposing upon them to be looking for the queen all the time. All you need is watching the front. They're bringing in pollen. They must be feeding larvae. They don't bring in pollen unless they're feeding larvae. They're at the bird bath getting water. They do that when they're feeding larvae. They don't need drinks so much. They must be raising larvae. There must be a queen in there. If you see guards at the door, every time some bee comes around lingering at the front, a guard will jump at them. There's a queen in there because that is morale. They're strong. They wouldn't be like that if the queen wasn't there. You do not need to find the queen. It's really hard on them to keep looking for the queen. So you can find evidence of the queen in many, many ways. So marked and clipped. The flying away, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Why do we clip? Never heard of a queen flying away. Unless the bees went with her and they're swarming. So stop swarms. My friend David gave me this post from an Austin beekeeping blog. All capitals, if you saw it on my blog, I put it there. All capitals, exclamation, there were 7 exclamation points in 2 sentences, and it was danger, warning, Will Robinson, you know this whole thing. Stop swarms. If you don't split your colony, you'll lose half your bees. It was really warning you. Don't let it happen. They're warning you against the bees doing what they most want to do in their lives. The one thing they want to do, they want to swarm. Our poor word, swarm, we only use it in bad movies and stuff. Who is swarming? No, it's the best thing they could ever do. They have everything perfect at home. They've got extra honey, they've got extra babies growing, everything's wonderful. They decide to double. It's the only way they can reproduce. They may be laying eggs all day long, but it's still just one colony. The only way they can become 2 colonies and double, like everybody on Earth wants to get more of their species, they have to swarm. The old queen leaves with half the bees or so, and they land conveniently enough on a bush right near their hive. And you have a chance to walk over, knock them into a box, and put them in another hive, and they will be very happy that you did that. You have the chance. In the meantime, you have the chance of hearing this amazing sound, all these thousands of bees coming out to be with their queen as she makes her first little flight to a tree. What a sound it is. It's really worth it to let them do this. Let them do what they want to do. And then you have a chance to get them and have more bees, or there are more bees in the world. That's the 2 alternatives when they swarm. You get them, or there are more bees in the world. Those are not terrible alternatives. Those are nice things. Those are nice things. And so being worried about swarms and clipping, that's one of the reasons. Clip the wings of the queen. She can't swarm, and she'll keep coming out and stumbling on the ground, and so you come out and have to put her back in. That's not very nice. I don't think that's nice. And so, or the bees are so furious with this defective model they've got that they kill her immediately when they can make a new queen. That's what clipping the wings does. Yes, please.
So, when they swarm, the queen leaves,
yes.
and have they already produced another queen?
Yes, so there may be 1 to 7 to 10 growing larvae of queens in there. And they left because they have capped them. They're not larvae anymore, they're pupa. And in 3 days or so, they will come out. That's the first moment they will leave. And as they go, then the new queen, when she arrives at the new hive, at a mailbox or your hive, she can pretty much start laying that week. She has toned down a bit to be able to fly, and she stopped laying for a few days. And so when she gets back to the new hive, she has to gain a little weight and kind of get back into the home idea again before she starts laying. But she can start laying within the first week. Where the other swarms, there may be several swarms from one colony. After the first queen has left, the remaining queens that come out, no one knows how or why. I think it's because the spring is so great. This spring is so great. I had one hive swarm 4 times already. The second queen that comes out, she swarms with them before she's even mated. And she'll leave, and a group of bees will go with her, and then maybe the next queen will leave with a group of bees, so there are fewer and fewer bees. But in my case this year, that first queen, she laid so many eggs that every time I see a swarm, I happen to see 3 of them from the same hive this year. I was home to see them. I don't work enough, I guess, because I was home to see them. Every time I looked in to say, okay, there's no bees in here, right? No, it's full of bees. How is that possible? I was going to take away space because you don't want to have too much space to maintain. I put the lid back on, another swarm. Okay, now there can't be any bees. Whoa, it's full of bees. How could this be? So somehow they figured it out that they left enough bees each time, 3 or 4 swarms. That hive was so great. And those swarms, they would stop, and I would get my ladder out, and then they would go. Every single time I put my ladder up, here I come. But cool. Whoa. And I watched them, and they went to the neighbors, and they kept going. And that was cool. I didn't mind that a bit. That was wonderful. And there's more bees in the world. It's not a terrible thing. If you're making all your money, you need a car payment. Yeah, maybe you got to stop swarming. But you and I, we don't have that problem. I don't think anyone in this room would come here if they're making money on bees. It would be. We had a conference called Organic Beekeeping Conference years ago, and we invited the Minister of Agriculture from Canada to come because his goal was to get beekeepers off drugs. That was what he said. He had a PowerPoint presentation back then, and he was showing us all the drugs that beekeepers give bees. Because they mistreat them so badly, they need to be supported with anti-diarrhea drugs because we feed them sugar, they get diarrhea, so you give them anti-diarrhea.